Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about the match between Barcelona versus Osasuna. Barcelona is going to be hosting Osasuna. We are in good form. We look invincible in the Champions League and also in the league so far in the year of 2025. And so I do think that heading towards this match, Barcelona should come in with a lot of confidence. So if you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. I'm happy you guys are here. If you guys are Barcelona fans, this is going to be the channel for you. This is where we do talk about everything regarding FC Barcelona when it comes to match reviews, match previews, player analysis, transfer news, etc. All of this is in this YouTube channel. And so if that thing is for you and you guys are interested, please like this video to support this YouTube channel and also subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. So in this video, we are going to be talking about the general preview of this game. Later in the video, we're also going to be talking about Osasuna's weaknesses and how Barcelona can defeat Osasuna. Then we're going to be moving on towards Hansi Flick's pre-match press conference, and then lastly speak about the potential starting 11 against Osasuna, knowing that in about 3 days we have another match coming up, which is the second match against Benfica. So let's look at the match overview. Barcelona currently do have 6 consecutive La Liga wins, 57 points total, which places them at the top of the league table. They're unbeaten across all competitions since December 21st, 2024, and we're leading La Liga 1 point ahead of Atletico Madrid and 3 points ahead of Real Madrid. As for Osasuna, Osasuna is in 11th place in La Liga, winless since February. Their last game was a draw against Valencia, which ended 3-3, and they're 5 points behind 6th place Real Betis. So there's still a possibility for them to be in a European spot, but Osasuna are not in their best form. Barcelona have all the reasons in the world to head towards this game with a lot of confidence. We are the highest goal scoring team in La Liga with 71 goals. Lewandowski is the top goal scorer with 21 goals. Our recent matchup before this one, we played against Real Sociedad, which ended 4-0. In the Champions League, we won against Benfica 1-0 in the first leg with only 10 men. For the Copa del Rey, we tied against Atletico Madrid 4-4 for the semi-final match, and our second leg is going to be at Wanda on April 2nd. As for Osasuna, their best player is Budimir, who has 14 goals, behind only Lewandowski with 21 and Kylian Mbappe with 17. Like we have said, their last victory was back in February. They have had 3 draws and 2 losses in the last 5 matches. Now here's the thing, the last time Barcelona and Osasuna did play, Osasuna won 4-2 back in September, and the last time Osasuna won away against Barcelona was back on July 2020, which was a 2-1 victory. So there has been some wins and losses from both sides, but for sure one of the most recognizable wins for Osasuna was the 4-2 win a few months ago, and that was mainly because Barcelona rotated a lot in that game. It was a huge mistake from Hansi Flick. I mean, like, if we look at the starting 11 that Hansi Flick placed out on that night, we can safely say that, you know, looking at this image, this was a decent starting 11. Like, Eric Garcia is good, Pau Victor was good, Gerard Martin is good, Sergio Dominguez is also good. I think that we did choose the right players. We knew their capabilities, but at that time in September, a lot of these players like Sergio Dominguez, Martin, Eric Garcia, Pau Victor, they needed time to develop under Hansi Flick's system, because if we do this exact same starting 11 tomorrow, we would have this team clicking much better. But at that time, it was just too early to be rotating that much. The players were simply not ready. Gerard Martin, in the way that we see him today, is a much better left back than how we saw him on this night against Osasuna, where they lost 4-2. As a matter of fact, even though he had a bad game, he still came out with an assist. Sergio Dominguez also improved his game. Eric Garcia is a much better defensive pivot next to Pedri. Pau Victor also now has more goals. Ferran Torres no longer plays on the right wing position, but as a striker, right? These players now know their roles. There's better clarity. So I would say that yes, Hansi Flick made some mistakes, but it's not fully his fault. I think that he probably knew that these players were good enough. It's just that it took time for them to reach that type of level. But now we're here. Do I believe that Hansi Flick is going to be putting the exact same 11 against Osasuna tomorrow night? I don't think so, but I do think that these players are much better today than how we saw them 5 months ago. As for the players' availability, like who's injured and who's not, for Barcelona, Gavi is expected to return. He's probably going to be there. He has missed 2 matches so far due to illness, but I think that he's going to be okay. Christensen, I have heard that he's fit, but it is uncertain whether he's going to be involved or not. As for Marc-Andre ter Stegen and Marc Bernal, they're willing to come back this season. They want to come back, but as of now, they're not going to make it nowhere near the next next 2 or 3 months. Pau Cubarsí, keep in mind that he is going to be suspended for the next Champions League match against Benfica, but he will be available for this match against Osasuna. As for Osasuna, we have Aimar, who has been doubtful after picking up a muscular problem against Valencia, so he may not play. So going into Osasuna's defensive weaknesses, I want to break this down into 3 different bullet points. Point number 1, I believe that Osasuna is really weak in defensive transitions. For example, Osasuna's aggressive 4-4-2 pressing system under Moreno does prioritize ball recovery in advanced areas, with strikers alternating pressure on center backs and midfielders closing passing lanes. So we should expect to see the strikers and the attackers of Osasuna to press our defenders, or mainly our center backs, a lot. This strategy is effective against possession-oriented mid-table sides. For Osasuna, they have been successful, but this approach also leaves exploited gaps between the defensive lines. So if Barcelona have their best technical center backs at the back, we would be able to exploit the pressure of Osasuna and really make those decisive vertical passes that does harm Osasuna, because that is what leads towards Osasuna and their center backs facing a lot of overloads in the midfield. Their 1.43 goals conceded per match does reflect their vulnerability in defense, especially with Osasuna like sending their fullbacks really high. It does not support them whatsoever. Point number 2, I believe that there is a lot of spatial exploitation in wide zones that we will be seeing. We have seen multiple opponents exploit Osasuna's attacking fullbacks by launching counters into vacated wide channels. This is going to be the opportunity for players like Gerard Martin and Jules Koundé to really take advantage of, because I remember there was this game around January 2024 where Barcelona won against Osasuna in the Supercopa 2-0, and one of the key players on that night was Alejandro Balde because of his overlapping runs and creating a lot of goal scoring opportunities. This could be a great opportunity for Gerard Martin or Jules Koundé to really do. Like, we should expect to see the exact same game plan. On that day, Alejandro Balde averaged 1.2 expected goals from crosses, and it overwhelmed Osasuna's defenders. They had to retreat so many times. And then point number 3, they do have aerial deficiencies in central defense. Even though we know that Budimir likes to help in terms of aerial duels when Barcelona are doing like a corner or let's just say a cross, for example, their center backs are really weak in aerial duels. Like Budimir, who is a striker for Osasuna, is better than the center backs that Osasuna do have when it comes to aerial duels. Osasuna concede 38% of goals from set pieces and open play crosses, which is a weakness that is also compounded by goalkeeper Sergio, who is very hesitant on claiming high balls. So expect to see a lot of crosses into the box coming from either Rafinha or Lamine Yamal, maybe even Jules Koundé himself. So now let's move on towards the pre-match press conference that was held by Hansi Flick, and this is what he said about Osasuna first. It's going to be a difficult match. They press well, and tomorrow is an important game. We expect a tense match. Last time we faced Osasuna, we suffered a lot due to their pressing. Then they asked Hansi, should we expect any rotations for tomorrow? And he said, we have not decided yet whether we will rotate, but we do want to field the best possible 11. I don't know how many, but there will be some rotations. So then they asked, okay, if you are thinking about rotations, are you going to be resting Pedri, who played a lot of minutes and was exhausted clearly after the match against Benfica? And this is what he said, we will see tomorrow if it's the right time for Pedri to rest. He is incredible. He's very professional, recovers well, and trains at the highest level. Then he spoke about the squad's mentality and recent performances, and I quote, I am proud of the team because they responded well in all situations. Everyone played very well in Lisbon, and Szczesny helped us a lot with his performance. That's why he is our #1 goalkeeper. I am very proud of the team and what happened the other day against Benfica. This gave us confidence for what lies ahead. And then lastly, he spoke about the philosophy and the approach. And so this is what he said. I believe it's also good to look at things positively. We are strong in our philosophy of positive thinking, pressing, and playing our game. It's great that we have also learned from the past how to defend as a team, which is very important for us. And so yes, it's true, like the way that Barcelona defended against Benfica with only 10 men was amazing. They were relentless. They acted as if they conceded a goal, somebody was like going to die within their circle. Like, it was just that serious. These players, they're hungry, and Hansi Flick really unlocked the best out of our defensive game, which is now going to lead us towards our predicted 11 and what we could see. Now, this is going to be my own opinion. I could be very wrong, but I do think based off what Hansi Flick did state and what we saw in the previous match against Benfica and what we will get 3 days later against Benfica, which is little to no rest, I do expect to see rotation, but soft rotation. For example, this is going to be my 11. Szczesny in goal. Our backline is going to be Jules Koundé, Araujo, Cubarsí, and Gerard Martin. In for Alejandro Balde. I think that it is time for Martin to showcase why he can be a reliable left back and somebody who can contribute in the final third. And hopefully he can do that against Osasuna by exploiting exploiting the spaces that Osasuna do leave behind. I'm very excited to see what Hansi Flick is going to tell him. For the double pivot position, I don't see Pedri in it, to be honest. I want him to be rested. Even if Pedri says he's okay, I want him to be rested because the next match against Benfica is going to be very important, and I want Pedri at 110%. I do think that this should be a game for Marc Casado and Frankie de Jong, which is still a very strong double pivot that can take Barcelona very far. You have the ball retention coming from Frankie and the ball winner coming from Marc Casado. We have seen this duo placed in the 11 multiple times, and I expected for it to continue to work against Osasuna. And then for our attackers, I expect to see Rafinha on the left, Gavi as the number 10, Lamine Yamal on the right wing position, and Ferran Torres on the striker position. I know that there is going to be questions about Dani Olmo and why shouldn't Dani Olmo play instead of Gavi. I also want to see Olmo against Osasuna because he barely played against Benfica. He only played about 15 to 20 minutes because of the red card coming from Kubarsi, but I want to see Dani Olmo get rested just like Pedri for our next upcoming match. Dani Olmo, out of all players, is one of the players that does get injured the most, and I do not want to risk anything with Dani Olmo because he is our best 10. Gavi, on the other hand, should be good enough to deliver a good result against Osasuna. We have seen him play in that position before, and it should be no different. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the players that I do want to reserve for this game is going to be Dani Olmo, Pedri, Alejandro Balde, and Lewandowski. 4 players who are going to be very crucial for the upcoming matches. Yes, I know that this is kind of still underestimating Osasuna. Yes, I understand that we made that mistake earlier before this season, but like I've said, it is a soft rotation, okay? Soft. Not a full rotation where we're going to be having Sergi Dominguez, Eric Garcia with Frankie de Jong, or have Pablo Torre on the right wing position. That to me is crazy. But I do think that having something like this where we have our key players like Lewandowski, Balde, Pedri, Olmo rested, that is fine. So let me know in the comment sections down below. What do you think about this starting 11? Do you want to see something different? Maybe you want to see Inigo Martinez instead of Araujo. Maybe you want to see Fermin Lopez get his chances as a number 10. Let me know in the comment sections down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.